else, but I got no one else here to take appointments. So.
Oh my God! So you just sucking on? You just sucking on like a spinach packet?
Times are tough over there, huh?
Dude, it's a physical and emotional war zone at my house right now.
Oh, brutal.
Well, I'm getting them bought. I'm like 4 for my last 5.
Oh boy, get the sympathy sick vote. Oh,
all from the guys, yes. We're like, it's the worst. Let me delete everybody. What's up? What's happening? Oh, Fixer, get the fuck out of here. Accidentally snuck a note taker in. It's probably great. It's so funny. Everybody thinks their note taker is the best, and you're like, dude, they're all the fucking same. Unless someone here thinks they got a really cool one.
I'm a Fixer fan.
Right. Cool. Recording. All right, guys. Oh, Cody. So today we are going to go through a round of random ass shit. That's what we're talking about today. RAS. This is an RAS sales training. Making sure my stuff is working. Cool. All right. RAS sales training. Y'all ready? This means feel free to ask as many questions as you'd like. But all right. First thing I want to talk about is actually a tracking thing. So you know how sometimes you don't want to do your job because it's really fucking annoying?
I just did that last night. I had one of those things.
That's amazing. So sometimes it sucks doing your job. It can really be helpful doing your job if you have like a financial element to it. So one thing I would recommend that you do is you take your commission that you earn, divide it by the thing you hate doing and how many of them you did. So if you hate doing cold calls, I made $100,000 of commission. I made 100,000 cold calls. Therefore, every call I make earns me $1. This is if you are an SDR or you manage SDRs, this is what I do here too, which is, so I'll put in like, how much revenue was I responsible for as the SDR who like booked meetings? What was the average deal size of those things? So I just put in like how many customers. I put in this information, okay? And what this then does is this will tell me, my pay per op. Let's say I make $500 for every op that I generate. Let's say that's my comp plan, $500 per op that I generate. So this is a complicated one because we're doing a bunch of different conversion rates in here. For most people, you can just do like commission divided by activities, let's call it. But so here, what it's doing is it's figuring out, hey, you get paid $500 per op. It takes you this many activities to generate an op. Therefore, your pay per activity is 40 cents. So this is a great way to be like, instead of saying like, let's say I'm a manager of reps, instead of being like, hey, make 100 calls, it'd be like, I want everyone to make $400 today. And $400 equals, in this person's world, 100 calls. If I make 100 calls, I earned $400. Or in other words, I've done activities which, historically speaking, have resulted in me earning $400. So if there's shit you hate doing, take a commission divided by that shit, the number of shit you had to do. Cool? All right. And I think, oh no, you guys don't get paid. Okay, cool. All right, never mind. So that is number one. Next thing I want to talk about here is, you know what else sucks in sales is when you have like 1,000 questions for somebody and you're like, I don't want to interrogate them. I got a lot. I got to get out of this call though, or this meeting. I got a lot. I got to get it. My manager told me 12 things I got to figure out. I don't know MedPick. I don't know BANT. I don't know all the squares. I don't know. What I do here when I have a ton is at the end of a call, or I guess in the middle though, but I think of it primarily at the end. I'll be like, oh shoot, before we go, I have like 6 quick questions. Or, hey, before we jump into the proposal I wanted to show you, I have like 6 quick questions. Or like, hey, before we jump into anything today, I have like 6 really quick questions I had to just run through. Is that okay? And then I can just interrogate, versus what I find really happens is the manager is like, you should figure out this and also that and this and this and that and that. And now what I'm carrying above my head is like the 18 questions my manager said I got to ask, the 3 questions I want to know answers to. All of it's like covered in like, how do I somehow wrap this into something the client is going to find value in? And also all my like sales tips and blah, blah, blah. And then just like stress. It's impossible. So instead, you're just like, I'm just going to fire it off in a big bulk thing. And people usually like that anyways, or prefer that versus you trying to like have these long-winded questions. Speaking of bulk question asking, my number one recommendation for everyone I work with, whether they're owners, leaders, or reps, is a specific is bulk processing in your calendar. So I know that we all know the idea of like, I'll put blocks on my calendar and then like I'll just forget that they're there and just put shit over it anyways. I know that that's what we all do. So instead of being like, my calendar is going to be crazy, I will have these little moments when I'll have sanity. You do it the other way around. So start with your sanity moments and then allow your calendar to get crazy around it. Meaning, for example, for me, I'm off on Wednesday. I don't work on Wednesdays. I absolutely do. But my Wednesday is 100% empty. Now that means that today sucks. Tuesdays are the worst. It's just fucking back to back, basically, the whole day. But okay, I'm ready for that. I'm on, got my 5 hour, I'm rocking. Tomorrow, when I'm start to do that annoying task, I put it off. And then I put it off, and then I put it off, and then it's 9:30. And you're like, fuck, all right, I'll do it. And you got kind of hungry for lunch. Fine. You procrastinated the whole day till 1 o'clock. And now you've got still 3, 4, 5 hours in the rest of the day to do stuff. What doesn't work is you have a blocker on your calendar for, let's say, 2 to 3 that you put because you're like, I'm going to block time. And then what ends up happening is you meet someone at 9 and then someone at 10, and there was like a 15-minute gap in between. And then there was a couple new Slacks that you got. And so you're like, oh, I'll handle that shit later. And then you have another meeting that's an hour later, but like with like a 20-minute gap or a 30-minute gap in between. And then you end up getting to that hour block that you set aside to do that big project. And you spend that entire hour handling the 15 Slacks, 2 little tiny things or whatever. Versus you are like, I am not available any fucking day between 10 and 3. Massive block. And everything is then forced to go around it. Then you'll end up having the time between, let's say, 10 and 10:30 to handle all that bullshit from Slack or whatever else. And the rest of your day can move on. But Mike, I don't have that kind of time. Totally. So that's blocking off an entire day, or my other recommendation is half of multiple days. Like I have a doctor's appointment is the way I've told myself originally, is like, I have a doctor's appointment every Wednesday at 2 because we've had that happen. Like I have a doctor on tomorrow. So I'm like not working until 11. Oh my God. But I'll go to that. But how many times have I tried to block off 9 to 11 and I don't do it? So in my mind, I'm like, I have a blocker from like 9 to 11 because I have a doctor's appointment. Or I have a blocker every day from 3 to 5 because I got a doctor's appointment. So what happens now is when you go to put other things in your calendar, instead of saying, yeah, what time works? Or someone being like, does Thursday at 3 work? And you go, sure. What you're going to do is if someone were like, so you can see, I block off all of Wednesday. I block off Mondays and Fridays until like 10 in the morning. So I'm like out 10. And I think the calendar that I provide people with to be able to book time does not include like this whole morning too. So I got a couple other like invisible blockers, if you will. But so now let's say Sarah's like, Mike, can I meet with you? I am not going to say, sure, Sarah, here's my calendar link. Because then Sarah's going to book a time here or here. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to be like, yeah, Sarah, are you free at 11:30 or 12:30 on Monday? So that meeting is here. And now I've got a big block here and a big block here versus here. And now I've got a small block here, a tiny block here, and a big block here. I don't know who said it. It's like we all overestimate what we can accomplish in a day and underestimate what we can accomplish in a year. And I think we all overestimate what we can accomplish in an hour. We're like, oh, I got an hour. I can have plenty of time to deal with that email. And you're like, yes, the email sending you're going to do is going to take you 2 minutes. However, the like finding of where I'm going to go to write that email, the distraction you're going to have as you're doing that, that's going to take 20 minutes. So the bulk time on your calendar preset, as opposed to, oh shit, how can I add a bulk time, a block, will give you that time to write that one email you got to send because you need like 90 minutes to write that, which is crazy. So
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, it's all of us. It's all of us there. So you, sales rep manager or whatever, add in your time. So at the end of this call, my recommendation is that everybody picks what day of the week do you have a doctor's appointment, and either have your day end at whatever 3 o'clock or start at like whatever 11, and pick. There's a day a week I do not work. A lot of companies have that like no meeting Friday or something. So you have that. Now you can mark it as like you're available so that your boss isn't like, why the fuck is your Friday blocked off? You can mark it as available, but like in your mind, you're like, I don't work Friday. That way you naturally move things. So those are the things I want you guys to do. All right. Other thing on calendar is I recommend that you think about, when are you effective? I think that humans are effective for like 3 hours a day. So is that your morning? Is that afternoon? Is that the evening? But it's going to be one of those things. I find, for example, I'm most effective between like 4 and 8, which sucks because I have kids. So my second most effective time, though, is 9 to 11, like 9 to 12 maybe, which is why when you look at my calendar, I'm like, except for Tuesdays here now, it's like I always try to keep this wide open, this morning time. And then I'm like booking stuff towards the end of the days if I can, or in the middle. Like I'm like 12 to 2. I'm an idiot. I don't exist. Go ahead, Rich.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about what you're saying. My most effectiveness is actually the weekends because the phone's not ringing. I got no calls and I got shit to do, but there's space. I know I'm effective. My wheels are turning. I get ideas. Things happen. I think of things that happened during the week that I wasn't able to think about. It's interesting.
Well, what I'll say to you too, Rich, and this is another thing that came to me. I went to Thailand for 2 weeks when I had a team of like 15 people, and it was crazy. I mean, like that company was fucking insane. I don't know how I did that. My boss approved it. I don't know how. So I went to Thailand for 2 fucking weeks, and I came back and I was like, nothing broke. Everybody found a solution. Like when I came back, it was like, oh, I went to Sarah for that. Well, I wasn't sure what to do here, so I just did that. Was that okay? And I was like, oh, as a manager in particular, you are a backstop primarily to hold accountability for everybody else or to hold plausible deniability. And I would direct, if you're a rep, I would urge you to stop doing this, which is if you know what to do or you think you know what to do, should I call this guy and tell him it's 10% off? You could just do that. And then you own that. What we do instead is we go to our boss and we go, hey, Christian, it would be okay if I gave the guy 10% off. Christian goes, yeah, man, that's all right. And I go, oh, okay. Now, if it doesn't work out, I have plausible deniability. Christian's the one who has accountability on that. I wasn't the one who approved it. He said it was cool. I just was the one who asked. So I say that to you, Rich, is to say that, and anybody else who manages anybody here in this call, which is to say, similar to the doctor's appointment or the flights, you don't even question, will I not answer phone calls between 12 and 4 when you have a flight, or you're at a game or you're on vacation? You don't even question it. But when it's just for yourself, hey, I need this 5 hours, then we go like, it would be absurd for me to say to the team, I'm not available. It would be absurd. But it's not absurd if it's not for me. It's for somebody else. It's little old me, not important. But for the flight that I'm on, so it's impossible, I don't even fucking question it. So why can't you? It's not as though you need to be on 40 hours. Why can't you take 5 hours off on Wednesdays? Cool. Sweet. And when I've done that, by the way, I know we're talking about manager stuff, not rep stuff for this minute here. I've told the reps that, like, hey, I always leave my cell phone open. I'm like, hey, between like I'm off between like 12 or whatever, like 9 and 12 today, guys. If it's important, text me. Or I'll even put my vacation responder on. That's like, hey guys, and it's only for internal. You know, you can make it like so only internal people, if they email you, whatever. My vacation responder will be like, I'm off, text me if it's important. And I never get a fucking text. But if I do, I can actually respond if I need. So I would say, like, why can't, can you bring a weekend? My push to you then, Rich, is can you put a weekend a day on your calendar? Hey, Thursday mornings is actually Saturday afternoon. All right. Next thing we're going to talk about here, I'm getting off calendar stuff, going right back into sales rep stuff. Told you it's going to be just random ass shit, is flanking. Okay. Flanking. Just like we were talking about plausible deniability with a sales rep asking their boss for approval on something so that if it doesn't work out, the sales rep doesn't need to feel bad. We all do that as humans, as buyers. So the whole, like, I want to speak to my wife excuse is I want plausible deniability. I don't want to feel like a jerk if this doesn't go well. It's not like I need her approval because of, she's super important, or I need my boss to approve this, or I need my team to see this, because otherwise it can't, there's like a checkbox that is uncheckable. It's just, if I don't ask my team if they like it and then we buy it and then the team doesn't like it, I'm a fucking asshole. And I don't like feeling like an asshole. Okay. So that's what's actually happening, by the way. If you're talking to C-suites at Fortune 100 companies, they're still going to be like, I want my VPs on board. Not because they love their VPs and they're like, I want them happy. They're like, because when it doesn't work, I don't want to get fucking fired. So think about this in your world. Who you sell to, who are the people they can spread accountability with? When you think, just don't answer, but think about that in your mind. Who I sell to, who are the people I can spread accountability with? It's either my peers, I'll get all the other managers on board, or my boss. I need my boss to be equal, or my team. One of those, or combination of those people. Okay. Second thing I want you to do now, let's get to flanking, is on your calls, we know get pain, provide value, set up next steps. The most important next steps in reality to getting something approved isn't like build a business case, send me ROI calculator. The most important next step is get Lisa on board with this too, so that when you go to your boss, Lisa's going to go, yeah, that's dope. Or you can go to your boss and go, Lisa and I both looked at this and it's cool. I'm going to show you something too. There's a link to this. But so this is a business case template. So this is like if you're selling, let's call it enterprise or a software, a medium-sized thing. But if you're not selling a medium-sized thing, this is still the same decisions that the person buying has to go through. So they're like, who is involved here? Who is involved in looking at this shit? So I can yell at them if it goes south. Then I just need a quick breakdown of like, why are we doing it? Hey, we've been zigging. And if we keep zigging, we're going to have this problem. So we can either zig and we're going to have this happen, or we can zag and we can have this happen. That's why we're talking. There's some context provided, like usually background. Oh, we had a hailstorm, so this is what's going on. Or, 6 years ago, this lady in operations built this tool. It's been great. We have this new customer and they require these new features. Give some context. These are the 6 most common questions that CFOs ask when somebody brings up buying something. Can we wait? So do we really need it now? And these are the 3 reasons I think that you could. I basically created this with pre-populated answers in. So like we need it now because like we have capacity to handle it now, or the need is very big now, or like timing is kind of works well now for whatever reason. Ultimately, what does it do? And these are the things that needs to do. I don't care that it makes my job easier. I don't care that it makes you faster. I don't care that it makes things more accurate. It's either increasing revenue or decreasing expenses or reducing risk. So for example, I have a product that makes people go faster. So what I would say here is this is going to increase our revenue because I'm going to increase I'm going to increase the capacity of the team to do more. Not I'm going to make them go faster. I'm going to give them the ability to do more. Your CFO, your top line person sees every human in the company as a robot. They don't actually, but when they're looking on paper, that's what they say. So it needs to do one of these 4 things as opposed to like some big long explanation. Is it in budget? Where we're going to get it from? How does this tie into like what we're trying to do? So it's like, I could have something where it's like, yo, Mike, I want to paint the house. Why now? Because it's summertime. This is like when you can paint the houses. Awesome. What does it do? It increases the value of our home. Do we have the spending budget? Yes, we do. Does it tie into our objectives for the house? Oh, not really, because our main focus in the house right now is furniture. Wait, but it's like, it makes sense. There's ROI. You have the money for it. You have authority. You got budget, timeline. Yeah, but it's like not really tied into what we're trying to do, right? So I don't want to like sidetrack. So you can see how this will cause someone to say no. Can we use something else we already have and order all the costs? Okay. So this is that, steal that. The reason I wanted to bring this up was not to show you this slide though, but I got sidetracked. This is like obvious stuff, like just other context. Well, if you buy this, here's how it plugs in other systems. Here's the 4 different tools we looked at, whatever. But then this is what they want to know. What's everyone else saying about it? I know I've got you, Rich, here in the meeting telling me we should buy this, but I want to know who else is going to own some of this account. Okay. So now I can get to my main point. I'm really belaboring this whole idea of like accountability. So we're thinking about who can they spread accountability to. Now we can talk about flanking. Flanking is how do I get other people on the sides, therefore the flank term, to help make sure this gets approved. So to do that, first question we always want to ask people is, if this didn't work out, what are the most likely reasons? I don't want to leave a house, a call, a Zoom without asking, if this didn't work out, what are the most likely reasons? Because what they're going to say up until this point is like, great, awesome, love it. Yeah, that sounds awesome. You think we'll be good? Yeah, of course. Hey, if this didn't work out, what are the most likely reasons? And then the second best question to ask after that is, hey, what about specifically with people? If this got blocked by somebody internally, who's the most likely person you think that might block it? So now I know who my target is. Like, okay, I got to figure out how we get Tony to agree. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be my boss is going to be worried about the budget, or my finance team will be worried about budget, or my wife will be worried about costs. So we've got those two. What are the most likely reasons? If it doesn't work out, why? If somebody were to push back, why? And then we get to our third level. If that, who could we convince, or sorry, that's not the word I want to say. Who can influence that person decision? And then finally, what do we do? So if I'm not just try to tie these two things together, I'm kind of talking in a little bit of a circle. In a regular call, generic information, I would say at the end of a call is, what's up? Why? What do you think? Love it. If this didn't work out, what are the most likely reasons? A or B? If that happened, what would you do? I don't know. Can you help me? Specifically focusing on this flanking technique if I know there's going to be other people involved. Hey, what do you think? It's great. If this didn't work out, what are the most likely reasons? A or B? Cool. If there was a person internally that pushed back the most, who do you think that might be? Joe or Jane? Great. Who can influence Joe or Jane the most? Is it you? Is it other people on your team? Yeah, they listen to sort of everybody, but my voice will be the most important. Okay, so what can we do to influence Joe, knowing that we have other people? What can we do? What can we do? Like my end of this is always like, what do we do? It's just like, what is the problem? And then what can we do? What is the problem? This person might push back. Who can influence this person? Great. What can we do to get that person influenced? This is my first way of doing flanking, is I want to understand it from their perspective. Because it's like, if I was cereal and I'm selling to the kid, I'll be like, yo, do you like it? He'll be like, I love tricks. I'm like, you got it. Awesome. If you were to not get tricks today, what would be the reason? Dude, no reason other than my mom saying no. Great. So your mom's going to be the person that's going to push back on this. Who influences your mom the most? Well, really like my sister. She's older than me. So she listens to whatever my sister says. All right. What can we do to get your sister influenced to tell your mom? Honestly, my sister just loves fucking marshmallows. So I don't know what we're going to do. All right. Well, listen, grab the box to the left of me. It's tricks with marshmallows. All right. Sick. Now, when we go to your mom, you know that you're going to say we should get tricks with marshmallows. Mom's going to say, I don't know. She's just going to go, actually, that's dope. I love marshmallows. Bob's your uncle. This is one way that you do it. I have another 30 seconds or potentially 1 minute here, and I want to give us another secret, faster way to do this. So when I'm flanking, there are 2 kinds of flankings I'm either doing. I'm either going to ask a person, who on the side of you can we get to raise their hand when you propose this? Or is there anybody above you that's on board with this so that they can the person above you who we now know likes it, if we know that, talk to this person on your team ahead of time? So basically what I'm saying is, like, there's a big meeting where someone's going to go, we should buy this product. So I'm saying to them, before that meeting, who can you get aligned with you so that when you say we should buy this, you can offload some of your accountability of that decision to that person too, by having them raise their hand or say, yes, I agree with that too. Or if we know the boss is on board, but there's like, hey, we like it, marketing likes it, ops hates it. I want to be like, all right, cool. How do we talk to your CRO? Or can we have your CRO talk to ops before we have the big meeting about the importance of X, Y, or Z? Yes. Sweet. Have them talk to that person so that when we do bring this up, it's like sales is on board, marketing is on board, and ops has a couple of questions, but they're kind of, that's flanking. All right. Get out of here. Love everybody. See you soon.